The look on her face, that frozen, pale shock when I told her she was trespassing on my lake, was worth every sleepless night. Every dollar in legal fees, and every ounce of stress she'd piled on me. Picture it. I'm standing on my dock, a no trespassing sign behind me, 40 neighbors watching, and the mighty president of our HOA suddenly realizing she'd been harassing the actual landowner all along. But to get to that moment, oh, you won't believe the hell I had to go through first. Act 1. The conflict begins. My name's Marcus Thornfield, and 6 months ago, my life looked very different. Divorced, burned out from my civil engineering job in Phoenix, questioning every decision I'd ever made. Then I got the call. My grandfather, Ezra, had passed, leaving me his entire lakefront estate in Millbrook, Wisconsin. 800 acres, 2 miles of pristine shoreline, guest cabins, a crumbling old mill foundation, the works. Now, Ezra wasn't just a property owner. Around here, he was basically the unofficial mayor of Crystal Lake. Kids learned to swim in his cove. Families borrowed his boats, summer fish fries on his dock. He treated the lake like it belonged to everyone. And then came her, Brenda Hutchinson, 52, bleach blonde bob, tennis whites she never sweated in, driving a spotless white BMW with vanity plates that said, "Community First." She showed up 1 week after I moved in, clipboard clutched like a weapon, that shark smile on her face. "We need to discuss your grandfather's arrangements with the community," she announced, standing in my doorway like she owned the place. She slid a 47-page lake usage agreement onto my table, $12,000 annual maintenance fees, mandatory guest approvals, implied easements, the works. She called me an outsider with a voice sweet enough to rot teeth. I told her I'd review Grandpa's documents before signing anything. Her smile could have frozen the lake in July. The next weekend, I invited some friends over for a barbecue, just like Grandpa used to. Sun, beer, burgers. It felt like a fresh start. Then Hurricane Brenda stormed onto my dock, waving laminated violation notices. She demanded a guest list like she was running Border Patrol. My friends packed up early, awkward and embarrassed. Party over. That night, I sat in Grandpa's study, feeling like I'd failed his memory. Then, out of frustration, I started rummaging through his old shelves. Behind a panel, I found a cedar chest stuffed with land deeds, surveyor maps, water rights dating back to 1923, and there it was, exclusive ownership of the entire lake. That's when it hit me. Brenda wasn't just bossy, she was running a con. And I had just become her next target. Act 2. Escalation and the twist. The games ramped up fast. Monday morning, I found a cease and desist letter tucked under my windshield. Official looking. Legal language. Fines of $500 a day for unauthorized lake usage. Except the law firm was a P. O. Box in the letterhead looked like it came from Microsoft Word 2003. Fake. Talking to neighbors. I learned the real bombshell. Brenda had been charging families $200 a month for lake access, collecting nearly $5,000 every single month. One older neighbor muttered over coffee, "Your grandpa never charged a dime." Then this woman showed up waving papers. She was pocketing thousands while telling everyone I was the problem. It only got uglier. Flyers accusing me of fencing off the shoreline. Kids coming up to me at the grocery store, "Mr. Marcus, are you really gonna stop us from swimming?" And their eyes welling up. That crushed me. And yeah, I'll admit it. There was a night I sat at my kitchen table, documents spread out, thinking maybe I should just give in, sell the land, walk away, let Brenda win. She had the neighbors, the smear campaigns, even the sheriff showing up at my door with her bogus complaints. I felt cornered. Part of me whispered, maybe she's right. Maybe Grandpa made a mistake leaving this to me. But then everything changed. I cracked open Grandpa's locked chest. Inside, correspondence with the Department of Natural Resources, federal seals, conservation contracts. Turns out, back in '99, Crystal Lake was designated a protected watershed. Grandpa had been its legal steward for 20 years, paid nearly $50,000 annually to maintain it. And in 2015, he'd set up the Crystal Lake Environmental Trust, with me as his successor. $340,000 in conservation funds, annual federal support, And the kicker? I was legally required to maintain public access free, exactly what Brenda had been screaming about, but without her fake fees or control. Suddenly, I wasn't the outsider villain. I was the only legitimate steward of the lake. I hired Rebecca Storm, a property rights attorney out of Madison. Her first words, "This isn't just neighborhood drama. Marcus, this is federal fraud. Document everything. She'll hang herself with her own rope." So I built my plan. Step 1. Announce a community festival, free boat rides, fishing lessons, kids programs, all funded by the trust. Step 2. Gather evidence of Brenda's fake invoices, forged signatures, and shady bank accounts. Step 3. Sit back and let her push it too far. And oh, did she ever? Act 3. The showdown. July 4th. Crystal Lake Festival. The sky was postcard blue, the smell of burgers drifting across the water, kids splashing, music from the high school jazz band filling the air. 200 people showed up, neighbors, families, even news crews. And right on cue, Brenda stormed in, white tennis outfit, clipboard in hand, 3 loyal ducklings trailing behind. "This illegal gathering ends now," she shouted, flashing a laminated badge that read, "Community Safety Inspector." Her voice cut through the crowd, sharp and trembling. Parents started pulling their kids from the water. People murmured nervously. That's when I stepped forward, calm as I could manage. "Mrs. Hutchinson, thanks for coming. Since you're concerned about safety, here are all the permits, the insurance documents, the federal trust papers." I handed her a fat folder. She rifled through it, face turning crimson. The crowd pressed in closer, phones out recording. "Now, Brenda," I said, "could you show us your credentials?" That was her fatal mistake. She held up her so-called HOA registration, a laughable forgery. The cameras zoomed in. Gasps rippled through the crowd. I grabbed the mic. "Folks, here's the truth. This lake has belonged to my family since 1923. It's a federally protected watershed. My grandfather created a conservation trust right here, documented that guarantees access for everyone, free of charge. What Brenda has been running is theft. I projected the deeds, the federal seals, the conservation trust onto a screen. Silence, then murmurs, then shouts. Brenda panicked. I've been protecting this community for years. I collected over $23,000 in legitimate fees, and that on record, on camera, in front of everyone, was her confession. Sheriff's deputies stepped forward, flanked by 2 FBI agents. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for federal fraud, forgery, obstruction of investigation, and wire fraud." The metallic click of handcuffs echoed across the festival grounds. The crowd gasped, then fell into stunned silence. Kids kept playing in the background, oblivious, while the queen of the HOA was led away in disgrace. No cheering, no victory parade. Just the sharp smell of lake air, the thrum of shocked whispers, and me finally exhaling. Closing line. When greed meets the truth wins every single time.